December 30th, 2025. Gospel music lost one of its greatest legends. Richard Smallwood, the composer of Total Praise and I Love the Lord, died at age 77 from complications of kidney failure. Churches around the world mourned. Watch night services that were already planning to sing Total Praise to usher in 2026 now sang it as a tribute to the man who wrote it. And among the thousands of tributes that poured in, one stood out. Funk legend Chaka Khan, the queen of funk herself, took to Facebook to share how deeply Smallwood's music had impacted her life. "He opened up my whole world of gospel music," Khan wrote. "His music didn't just inspire me, it transformed me. He is my favorite pianist, and his brilliance, spirit, and devotion to the music have shaped generations, including my own journey." She ended her tribute with words that brought tears to thousands. "I am truly looking forward to singing with you in heaven." Today we're telling the story of Richard Smallwood's incredible legacy and why Chaka Khan's tribute matters so much. Part 1. Who was Richard Smallwood? 3 minutes. To understand why Chaka Khan's tribute was so powerful, you first need to understand who Richard Smallwood was. Born on November 30th, 1948 in Atlanta, Georgia, Smallwood was a musical prodigy from the very beginning. His mother called him a humming baby, because even in his crib, he would hum along to the hymns sung at his stepfather's church. By age 5, Smallwood was playing piano by ear. By 7, he was taking formal lessons. And by 11, he had already formed his first gospel group. Smallwood was primarily raised in Washington, D.C. by his mother Mabel and his stepfather, Reverend Chester Lee, C.L. Smallwood, who was the pastor of Union Temple Baptist Church. Growing up in the church wasn't just about Sunday services. It was about living and breathing music. Smallwood later told Howard University's What that all he remembered from his childhood were the hymns and songs that were sung at the church. Smallwood pursued music with a seriousness that was rare for someone so young. He graduated cum laude from Howard University with degrees in classical vocal performance and piano, and later pursued graduate studies in ethnomusicology. While at Howard, he was a member of the Celestials and helped establish the university's first gospel choir, laying a foundation that would influence gospel music far beyond the campus. In 1977, Smallwood formed the Richard Smallwood Singers in Washington, D.C., launching a recording career that would redefine contemporary gospel. His 1982 self-titled debut album spent an unprecedented 87 weeks on Billboard's gospel chart. That's over a year and a half. Think about that. One album dominating the gospel charts for 87 consecutive weeks. It was unheard of then, and it's still remarkable now. But Smallwood wasn't just successful, he was revolutionary. He seamlessly blended classical composition with traditional Black church expression, creating a sound that was sophisticated, emotionally honest, and deeply theological. His music elevated gospel to new heights, proving that you could be musically excellent and spiritually profound at the same time. Smallwood's most celebrated work, Total Praise, was written during a season of personal hardship. He was battling depression, grief, and struggles that he later detailed in his 2019 autobiography, Total Praise, the Autobiography. But out of that darkness came a song that has become one of the most beloved worship songs in modern church history. "Lord, I will lift mine eyes to the hills, knowing my help is coming from you. Your peace, you give me in time of the storm." Those words have carried millions of people through their own storms. Over the course of his career, Smallwood received 8 Grammy nominations, multiple Stellar Awards, and was inducted into the Gospel Music Hall of Fame in 2006. But his greatest achievement wasn't the awards. It was the songs, Total Praise. "Center of My Joy," "I Love the Lord," "Anthem of Praise." These songs are sung in churches every single Sunday, all over the world, in every denomination. If you've ever been to a Black church, you've heard Richard Smallwood's music. And if you've ever been moved by a gospel song, chances are Richard Smallwood had something to do with it. Part 2. The connection between Smallwood and Chaka Khan. 3 minutes. So how did Chaka Khan, the queen of funk, the woman who gave us "I'm Every Woman, Ain't Nobody," and "Through the Fire," become so deeply connected to Richard Smallwood's gospel music? The answer lies in Chaka's own spiritual journey and her lifelong love for all forms of music. Chaka Khan, born Yvette Marie Stevens on March 23, 1953, in Chicago, has always been more than just a funk singer. She's a student of music. She grew up listening to gospel, jazz, blues, R&B, and funk. Her musical influences include Aretha Franklin, Sarah Vaughan, Dinah Washington, and yes, gospel music. Chaka has said in multiple interviews that gospel music was the foundation of her vocal style. The runs, the riffs, the emotional depth, all of that comes from the Black church. In 2007, Smallwood released an album called Journey, Live in New York, and one of the featured performers was Chaka Khan. The album also included performances from the Hawkins family, Kelly Price, and Kim Burrell. But Chaka's inclusion was significant. It showed that Smallwood recognized her as more than just a secular artist. He saw her as a sister in music, someone who understood the power of a song to transform lives. For Chaka, working with Smallwood wasn't just a professional collaboration, it was spiritual. In her Facebook tribute, she described Smallwood as her favorite pianist, which is high praise coming from a woman who has worked with some of the greatest musicians in the world. She said his brilliance, spirit, and devotion to the music have shaped generations, including my own journey. That word, transformed, is key. Chaka didn't say Smallwood's music inspired her. She said it transformed her. There's a difference. Inspiration is temporary, transformation is permanent. Smallwood's music didn't just give Chaka a feeling, it changed who she was as an artist and as a person. Chaka's tribute also revealed something deeply personal. She wrote, "He opened up my whole world of gospel music." For someone like Chaka, who was already familiar with gospel, to say that Smallwood opened up her world suggests that he showed her something she hadn't seen before. Maybe it was the sophistication of his arrangements. Maybe it was the theological depth of his lyrics. Maybe it was the way he made gospel music accessible to people outside the church without watering it down. Whatever it was, it clearly had a profound impact on her. Part 3, the December 30th, 2025, Announcement and Tributes, 2.5 minutes. On Tuesday, December 30th, 2025, at 12:36 a.m., Richard Smallwood passed away at the Brook Grove Rehabilitation and Nursing Center in Sandy Spring, Maryland. He died of complications from kidney failure, a condition he had been battling for years. His representative, Bill Carpenter, announced the news saying, "Richard was so dedicated to music, and that was the thing that kept him alive all these years. Making music that made people feel something is what made him want to keep breathing and keep moving and keep living." In recent years, Smallwood had been dealing with mild dementia and other health issues that prevented him from recording music. Members of his vision choir had been helping care for him, showing the deep love and loyalty that his music inspired. Even in his darkest days, Smallwood always referenced music as a solace and a method of ministry. In a 1993 Washington Post interview, he said, "I don't know that I have all the answers, or any of the answers, but being a minister of music, I need to be open to listen and give a word of encouragement through songs of testimony." The announcement of Smallwood's death sent shockwaves through the gospel community and beyond. Churches that were preparing for Watch Night services to welcome 2026 immediately altered their plans to include tributes to Smallwood. Pastors who had already planned to sing Total Praise now sang it with tears in their eyes, knowing that the man who wrote it had just gone home to be with the Lord. Tributes poured in from all over the world. Gospel artist and composer Donald Lawrence called Smallwood a genius, a musical genius, a prodigy from a child up. He was very, very, very giving, just a great friend. Reverend George L. Parks Jr., pastor of Metropolitan Baptist Church in Washington, D.C., where Smallwood often ministered, said, "He blessed us in so many distinct ways by just sliding in on the piano, playing for our historic communion services, and also with our choir. His legacy will continue to be felt worldwide." And then came Chaka Khan's tribute. Posted on Facebook, her words were simple but deeply moving. "Richard Smallwood opened up my whole world of gospel music. His music didn't just inspire me, it transformed me. He is my favorite pianist, and his brilliance, spirit, and devotion to the music have shaped generations, including my own journey. His legacy will live on through every note and every soul he touched. I am truly looking forward to singing with you in heaven." That last line hit different. I am truly looking forward to singing with you in heaven. It wasn't just a polite farewell. It was a declaration of faith, a promise, and a beautiful image of what's to come. Part 4, Why Chaka's Tribute Matters, 2.5 minutes. Chaka Khan's tribute to Richard Smallwood matters for several reasons. First, it shows the universal reach of Smallwood's music. Gospel music is often seen as a niche genre, something that only reaches a specific audience. But Smallwood's music transcended those boundaries. It reached funk legends like Chaka Khan, R&B stars like Whitney Houston and Destiny's Child, and even pop audiences who may not have known they were listening to gospel. Second, Chaka's tribute highlights the spiritual depth of Smallwood's work. When an artist of Chaka Khan's caliber says that someone's music transformed her, you have to take that seriously. Chaka isn't known for being overly sentimental or exaggerating. If she says Smallwood's music changed her life, it's because it did. Third, the tribute shows that gospel music is the foundation of so much of what we love in Black music. Chaka Khan's vocal style, her runs, her emotional delivery, all of that comes from the church. And Richard Smallwood was one of the people who helped preserve and elevate that tradition. His music reminded artists like Chaka where they came from and gave them a foundation to build on. Finally, Chaka's tribute is a reminder that music is ministry. Smallwood didn't just make songs. He created experiences, moments of worship, encounters with God, and that's what Chaka recognized. She didn't just appreciate his technical skill or his beautiful melodies. She recognized the spirit behind the music, the devotion, the calling. When Chaka wrote, "I am truly looking forward to singing with you in heaven," she was acknowledging that Smallwood's work wasn't just about this life, it was about eternity. And that's the ultimate measure of a gospel artist's success. Not how many albums you sell or how many awards you win, but whether your music points people toward God and prepares them for what's to come. Part 5. Smallwood's Lasting Legacy. 2.5 minutes. Richard Smallwood's influence extended far beyond the gospel genre. His music has been recorded and performed by artists such as Whitney Houston, Yolanda Adams, Karen Clark Sheard, Destiny's Child, Chaka Khan, Kelly Price, Stevie Wonder, and Boys the Two Men. Think about that range. From gospel to R&B to pop to soul. Smallwood's music resonated with everyone because it was rooted in something universal, the human need for hope, for healing, for connection with something greater than ourselves. Whitney Houston's version of "I Love the Lord," recorded for the 1996 film The Preacher's Wife, became one of the most iconic gospel performances of all time. The Georgia Mass Choir also recorded it, and Boys the Two Men included a refrain of it on their 1997 album Evolution, in a song called Dear God. Destiny's Child covered Total Praise on their 2007 a cappella track Gospel Medley. These weren't just covers, they were tributes. They were acknowledgments that Smallwood had created something timeless. Smallwood's songs are sung in churches every single Sunday. Total Praise is a staple of watch night services, funerals, and moments of corporate worship. Center of My Joy is a favorite at weddings and celebrations. I Love the Lord is sung by choirs all over the world. Bill Carpenter, Smallwood's representative, said it best. You can go into any kind of church, a Black church, a white church, a non-denominational church, and you might hear that song. Somehow it found its footing throughout the whole Christian world. If he never wrote anything else, that would have put him in the modern hymn book. That's the mark of a true genius, not just creating something that's popular for a moment, but creating something that lasts for generations. Richard Smallwood's music will be sung long after all of us are gone. It's part of the fabric of worship now, woven into the way we express our faith, our pain, our joy, and our hope. Part 6. The Bigger Lessons. 2 minutes. So what can we learn from Richard Smallwood's life and Chaka Khan's tribute? First, excellence matters. Smallwood didn't just write catchy songs. He studied music formally, earned degrees, and approached his craft with the seriousness it deserved. He blended classical training with church tradition, and the result was something that elevated the entire genre. Second, authenticity resonates. Smallwood wrote Total Praise during a season of deep personal struggle. He didn't fake it. He didn't pretend everything was fine. He poured his pain into the music, and that authenticity is why the song still moves people today. Real emotion, real faith, real struggle. That's what people connect with. Third, music is ministry. Smallwood could have pursued a career in classical music or jazz. He had the talent for it. But he chose to dedicate his life to gospel because he believed that music was a way to serve God and serve people. and that calling sustained him through decades of challenges, health struggles, and personal battles. Fourth, your work outlives you. Smallwood is gone, but his music remains. Every time someone sings total praise in a church service, Smallwood's spirit is there. Every time a young choir learns, I love the Lord, Smallwood's legacy continues. That's the power of creating something meaningful. Finally, respect transcends genres. Chaka Khan didn't have to pay tribute to Richard Smallwood. She's a funk legend with her own legacy. But she recognized greatness when she saw it, and she honored it. That's what real artists do. They celebrate each other. They acknowledge the shoulders they stand on. They give credit where credit is due. Closing, 1.5 minutes. On December 30th, 2025, the world lost Richard Smallwood, but heaven gained a voice that will join the eternal choir. His music, his ministry, and his legacy will continue to inspire generations. And when Chaka Khan wrote, I am truly looking forward to singing with you in heaven, she captured what so many of us feel. The pain of loss mixed with the hope of reunion, the sadness of goodbye mixed with the joy of what's to come. Richard Smallwood spent 77 years on this earth, and he used every one of them to make music that mattered. He didn't chase fame. He didn't compromise his faith for commercial success. He simply did what he was called to do, and he did it with excellence, integrity, and devotion. Chaka Khan's tribute reminds us that Smallwood's influence reached far beyond the walls of the church. He touched the Queen of Funk. He inspired Whitney Houston. He shaped how we worship, and he left behind a catalog of songs that will be sung until Jesus comes back. Rest in peace, Richard Smallwood. And Chaka, we'll be singing with you both someday. What's your favorite Richard Smallwood song? Drop your memories in the comments below.